Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning. Hope you all have some fun plans today, whether it's get outside and do something, day at church, dinner with grandma and grandpa, whatever it would be. So enjoy the day. I want to talk about something this morning that is crucial to your survival. Okay. Now, we all know the rule of threes: 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. You know, I'm not telling anybody new or anybody anything new there, but where you get your water from is becoming more and more and more of a problem. Okay, now many times we've talked about different water filtration systems, whether it's a Berkey, an Alexa Pure, even a zero water or something, boiling water, bleach. We've talked about all sorts of different ways of doing it. And of course, the two is one is none, have multiple ways to get your water. The problem comes in as to where the water comes from originally. All right, you can't take sludge and filter it out and turn it into water. Okay, you can take contaminated water, whatever would be dirty water, and run it through your filter or something like that and make it clean to drink. But you're going to burn up filters real quick. And I'm betting at the cost of them, people don't have dozens and dozens and dozens of backup Berkey filters. Okay. You could easily spend thousands of dollars just on the amount of filters you have. We store water, but there's only so much you can do in regards to bottles of water, jugs of water, IBC totes of water, whatever it would be. Story came out yesterday. Well, actually, I take it back. Came out a couple of days ago because it's the weekend and I lose track of days. About the pollution in the waterways. All right. Now, the Environmental Integrity Project did a study, and I'll link this article below for you guys. About 50 years ago, the Clean Water Act was passed, okay? And the objective of that was to clean up the water in the country, okay? Anything, lakes, rivers, streams, whatever it would be. You all remember the commercials with the American Indian with the tear dripping down his eye. This goes back to the 70s again, looking at pollution. Why pull tabs on a can now stay there rather than pull it off completely, if you're old enough to remember those, because people just throw them on the ground or whatever. Pollution was bad. I'm sorry, I got a hair in my eye or something like that. Well, the EIP did this study on pollution in our rivers and streams and everything like that, and found nearly 50%, nearly 50% of the water in the United States is not good enough to drink, swim in, or fish in. Okay, now the fish in part is a problem too, because there's going to be a main source of protein in a SHTF situation. And I know everybody says, oh, but we've got pristine waters around me. And yet, Tennessee's like everybody else, the lake that I'm near here is supposedly the fourth cleanest body of fresh water in the country. Okay, so be it. So in this study, they mentioned where the worst states are. And it's kind of interesting. Indiana has the dirtiest waterways in the country. 24,395 total miles of rivers and streams are uninhabitable for swimming and recreation. Okay, it's quite a bit. I used to live up in Indiana, and at least up in northern Indiana, the lake life was pretty much everybody's weekend recreation. You get out on the lake on the weekends or whatever, is everybody's fishing, jet skiing, water skiing, just boating, whatever it would be. But so you think about it, it's like, okay, the water's not safe to drink and the fish aren't safe to eat. Not good. All right. Who's number 2? Oregon. You go, oh, okay, well, that's a liberal paradise. Okay, yeah, you could say that this has nothing to do with politics. This just has to do with the way we treat our land. Number 3, South Carolina. So, I mean, if we're talking about completely different, we've got a Midwest state, we've got a Northwest state, we've got a Southeast state. Those are the top 3, okay? That's just for your rivers and streams. How about lakes? The state with the dirtiest lakes. Anybody want to guess? Florida. Okay. Who is worst when you have the water for that is worst for drinking water and third for fish consumption? California. All right, so we're now talking some very, very populated areas that have poor quality drinking water, poor quality fisheries. Oops. Getting your own water, your source for water, somehow, some way. I know everybody, when they're looking for property, oh, hey, you want to have something that's got a water source on it. You've got a water stream, you've got a stream or there's a river or a lake. Guilty, it's what we looked for, okay? You got to find out how clean that water is. Is that water going to be usable? I mean, what causes this? I've told you guys before, the reason I can't have livestock here is because they don't want the runoff from the livestock going into the lake, because Norris Lake is a reservoir that not only provides hydropower, but also provides drinking water for a multitude of states around here. Okay, so they want to keep it as clean as possible. Makes sense. But that's the reason that we have all these, or one of the reasons that we have all these dirty water. It's the residual runoff from farmland, from ranch land. You have whatever chemicals, we talk about Grazon when we're discussing making your compost. Any of those weed killers and things like that farmers spray in their fields to keep the hay and get rid of the weeds. Well, that all goes into waterways. Any of the chemical fertilizers that people use in the gardens, or farmers use in the gardens, or corporations use, goes off in the waterways. Okay. Then you take a look at municipalities that, wastewater treatment plants, and what do? They dump all this waste back into the streams and rivers. I mean, in this article, right at the top of it, and like I said, I'll link it below, there's a picture of 2 wastewater pipes just dumping into what looks like a river. And I mean, this water is as dirty as you get. But hey, let's just dump it in the water. Okay. We all know about the great trash island, that's out in the Pacific Ocean, from all of Asia dumping their garbage, their plastics and everything like that into the Pacific. This is something we need to concern ourselves with, guys. Water is life. Without water, you got 3 days, okay? It doesn't matter how much anything else you got. If you don't have any water, you got 3 days. Get your rain barrel. Rainwater is going to be the best to do. That's going to be as clean as you can possibly get it. Still got to filter it and all, but that's going to be the cleanest you can get. Any sort of reservoirs you can do. If you can do rain barrels, preferably off of a metal roof or something like that. Shingle roof, not so good. You don't want all that asphalt tar, the chemicals from that in your drinking water. Even though all the little rocks sink to the bottom, no big deal. There's still leachate in the water. So figure out your water barrels. I talked once before about how to how to camouflage water barrels. But this study is concerning because without water, you ain't growing anything. And it's not really going to matter, because if you aren't staying hydrated, you're never going to see harvest anyway. Think about your water plans, guys. We go through a lot of water. I told you before, 6 gallons a day per person, regardless of what the government will tell you. That's what you go through, 6 gallons of water a day. Figure out how you're going to cover that for every person in the household. Have a great Sunday. Pinball out.